Welcome to the nightly vid. We do have CPI tomorrow morning, so we'll try and keep it a little shorter. Starting with the indexes, SPY, inside week to start the week. We'll see how that changes with CPI. Obviously still good on the month from our 2-2 hammer month, so that's still going until proven otherwise, right? If we go to the US 500, we did have some positive NVIDIA news here. So if we look up and left, you'll see last week's highs and lows in here. So we make the new highs, come back in. So the question then becomes with CPI, right? Are we going to make new highs again? And then, what happens? Or are we going to make some lower highs, lower lows, and start trading back through this range? If we're going to have a really big bullish CPI reaction, we'll tend to make new lows first and then go for it. So we'd prefer, at the very least, taking this low out. And ideally, right, down into these lows first would be ideal, or even down into these guys. So we'll prefer that, but we'll see how CPI comes out. That being said, if we go to the Qs went 3 on the day, still an inside week. Dow Jones, 3 on the day, still double inside week. And then IBM, almost a 3, but still inside week. So the question is, how do we change that? That being said, tech did triangle the out today, so you'll see the lower lows slightly lower than the hammer, and with NVIDIA earnings, it's likely to open as a 2. Given CPI, we'll see, how that changes things. I imagine it's going to be kind of meh, but we'll see. Semis, you'll see did triangle out as well, taking out the tight stop guys in here. Then hammer on the day, so tech and semis will be hammers. If we go to, and I don't want to talk about uranium yet, let's take a look at discretionary. So discretionaries did go 2 up week to start the week. They are still hammer quarter to the upside, which is like Tesla's, your Amazons. So see, Amazon just starts as 2 up week. We got our Teslas, 2-2 week, but didn't do much this morning, or today, so we'll see what happens. Outside of that, we didn't see a lot of discernible trends. We did see some weakness in energies this morning with some daily reversals across the board, but still inside weeks there. So we'll see what happens. US oil did go reversal down. So we don't see the energies really following through from last week's entries. So we got out of those today. And then what we did see today was uraniums. So we did not get this on the weekend vid since I had to rush to do it this morning. Just because I was out a little bit later the previous night. Didn't get home until late. I had to drive across Wisconsin. But what we saw was the 1-2-2 week. And this is the beneficial part of being in the Discord, is we're alerting this stuff, even if we don't get it in the video. We'll see right after, about 10 minutes after the open, we had the uranium sector as our main play. And then last week, we saw uranium's 3-2 day, which set this up. So we actually entered last week into this type of stuff, which is a benefit of the Discord. But that will be that. So we'll see SMR 2-2 week with uranium 2-2 week. You'll have OKLO continuation week, and then CCJ 3-2 expansion weeks to the upside. So you had some uranium focus today, with the rest of the market a bit of a meandering mess. So if you go to the day here to start the week, you'll see, utilities, we had a lot of things in utilities going up today. So uraniums, you could say, falls under a little bit of that, but the main ones, DUC, NEE, SO, D, AEE, ETR, AEP, DTE, all the main utility names are going to be up there to start off the week. And you'll see, right, everything kind of sold off, and then you had non-cyclical staples a little bit more firm, utilities more firm. So they're a little bit more defensive into the CPI. So we'll see if that changes. This week, you can see like half up, half down, half up, a little bit more in tech, and 20% down. So the rest, about 60% of the market, 50% of the market is inside bar, which gave us a little bit of a mess today. That being said, let's take a look at our daily setups. So starting with our inside, got 96 names. And we'll start from the top. So GEV, looks like we're on some historical data. That is my fault. I apologize. Let me fix that. So get a little bit of better data here. So that's my bad. I always forget to look over here. But you'll see on the days, like 45% down, 40% up, 50% down, 35% up. All right, and then utilities, little bit of staples, mostly real estate's going up, a little bit of industrials, a little bit of financials. So some up, right? And then some down. That's what today was prior to CPI. On a weekly basis, you got utilities leading. And on the downside of things, it was some technology, but a lot of those, or about half of the tech that was going down, recovered. And therefore, right, let's get back to it. We go inside day setups. There it is. You got a lot more here. Let's take a look. So now it's going to be a more expensive stock, but bottom of the broad information, inside day. That's something you'd probably want to know about. It is inside a week still, but high volatility. So maybe that kicks it in, or maybe we set up a rev strat, right? Keep it on the radar either way. Let me get my little tool up in here. So say, all right. So inside days will get now in there. High ATR side of things, MA, inside day. Outside week last week, still an inside month, so I'm not very interested. ISRG, inside day, still an inside month, although it is pretty red, so if things are bad tomorrow, could get a nice PMG to the downside. Microsoft in the tech, full time from continuity to the upside, inside day. Cat, full time from continuity to the upside, inside day. Visa with MasterCard, so I guess we'll just add it to the list. Visa and MasterCard. Visa is more of a pivot machine gun. Again, we'll see with CPI how things play out here. CRM inside day, maybe a measured move in here. You can see it's a little bit stuck though, so could just kick right back into the triangle. So we'll see. Get Amazon in there. Let's see what we got. Inside day up at the highs in Amazon. Healthcares are inside day, which tells you UNH. See what we got here. Yep, double inside. So 311 UNH, that's something we can get some focus on in healthcares with the XLV inside day. CoreWeave, this is a high ATR name inside day. And we got triangle out to the lows, so maybe if things firm up, could turn into a ripper again. You'll see this this year, they've obviously liked CoreWeave. It's one of your AI names. Sorry, I'm coughing. And we'll try and keep it short. I'll just keep ripping through the charts here. Let's see, IRM. Now we're starting to get into some of the nobodies. We'll look at high ATR percent to see what the high flyers are doing. INKT. And we'll call these the shenanigans. So inside day after high volatility, that's something we look for. NEGG, inside day after high volatility. Something we look for. ARQQ, pretty high volatility in there as well. And these are names that can turn into big names because they tend to have a lot of volatility, and that's something we look for. MP after the gapper, inside day. We're going to put a lot of stars next to that one. We like it up into all-time highs, 60. And it's a really good one for investors, so I'm actually going to try and get some investment into MP tomorrow. Celsius, that's a good one as well. And I'm trying to see where I found that. So it is an inside day. Where is it? Am I losing my mind here? I was looking at the bottom of the list. I like Celsius because you have triangle out to the downside and then the inside day setup and potential 322 year next year. So put some stars next to it. You can see if that works, 2-2 week. If that works, it's still a 2-up month. If that works, it's a 2-up quarter. And if that works, it's still bright green a year, potential 3-3, bringing them back after the lawsuits. In healthcare, you also have TEM, which I'm not sure, but you have inside day, which could trigger the week down and the month down towards these levels down in here, these bigger levels. So maybe it'd be momentum. No, thank you. CLDX, also healthcare's. It's an interesting one. You see the quarterly to the upside in here, like a so. So they've been a lot higher. Not sure what they do. Let's see. $0.50? No. No. Antibodies, diseases, clinical trials. Okay, so maybe if their clinical trials go well, that could be one for the radar. But you do have an inside day there. Let's see. Sale. Nope. AAP. Oh yeah, high volatility. We like that. And we like that because inside bar, they're obviously buying it, right? So high volatility plus an inside bar, that's always a good thing. Similar to here. High volatility, inside bar, boom, right? You'll see it has the 3-2 quarter, 2 going 3 years. So bottom of the big yearly, quarterly broadening formation. CENX in the basic materials. So now we're starting to get into some, interesting names. And we're putting stars next to the ones that are high volatility names that are setting up to keep moving. We like the long red and green bars, but so for your inside days, it's going to look a little different tonight, but you'll see high ATR. So you got kind of your normal names in here and then some of your more interesting stuff, higher volatility stuff. Like I'm probably not going to trade much of these. I'll probably be focusing on this tomorrow. And then normal names, just kind of normal volatility plus CELH. UNH double inside, and then shenaniganers, right? And then MP. We want to create an investment there. And ideally, we would have had it before news. I just, fell off my radar before the news, and I didn't hold a running position in there. But that is that. Let's take a look then at our 2 downs. So I want a 2 down, ideally a hammer. 58 of those, and I'm going to sort that by the gain on the year, which not all of these are showing up on the yearly. Let's see. All right, by gain on the year, so Oracle, of course, we'll see triangle out in Oracle. Here it is. Boom. All right, NRG and utilities. Be a rev strat on a Tuesday. Did have a little bit of triangle out in here. Not quite the new lows here, so I'm just going to take it off my list because of that. TSM and the chips. We got some NVIDIA news with China, so that's something we'll take note of. And I'll add that to the list under Oracle. Semis, of course. Dollar Tree still going. So it'd be a good 2-2 in there. ARM with NVIDIA. Wow, is it really up that much this year? 15%, $19. It says 26 here on the yearly changed dollar, so maybe the yearly open is incorrect. We'll have to double check that. Growl could have the 2-2-day pivot machine gun. I'm not sure what they do. Biotech company, early cancer detection. Interesting. So your healthcares, let's see, urban and the cyclicals could trigger a weekly, could confirm a monthly, so that could send it flying, especially if CPI is low and the consumer stuff starts going. Cuervo. So Cuervo is a quarterly name, daily triangle layout for the signal back up into there. So we like that. And you can see this is why we do the quarterly stuff. So when you mark it out, you open it up and you find there's a signal, right? Then we know that's something we already know. Already have all the charts charting, right? As they say. So above this stuff could go into 130. And this daily signal could set that in motion. Foot Locker, I'm not interested. It's kind of a mess. Financials, SEIC. Been on a tear. Here's your triangle out day. You got CPI tomorrow, so probably gap. Dell. You see Dell from our monthly video, right? Boom. Right off they go. And then slight triangle out on the day. Stop these guys out and maybe go after it. Cisco looks more interesting to me than Dell, just because you got bigger range to come back through. But we'll add it to the list. And Cisco's also been on a pretty big tear this year. SoFi in the financials, that's a good one as well. And SoFi is finally starting to get a move on. You'll see 3-2 quarter, 2 up year, the 2-2 hammer day, 2-2-2 on a Tuesday. So we're putting a star next to that one. Staples are showing up as a hammer day in here. Let's see. See Starbucks Doji year, triangle out day. So now we're starting to get into some of the ones that aren't moving much this year, and you know, to each their own, but I like to just kind of shy away from that. As we get this late in the year, you want an aggressive yearly participant. It doesn't make sense to go too crazy on stuff that's not moving, but you know, if you have quarterly signals, then it makes a little difference. So what we can do, so we can also go to the quarter and just scan for 2 up quarter after a 2 down or a 1 or a 3. So we just don't want continuation. So 2 down, 3. Doesn't look like we have any 1s here. So we can take a look there, sort that by this quarterly gain, and then we'll get stuff from our quarterly video. So win, the rev strat. And that rev strat, you'll see, confirms the 3-2 quarter. And if we go to TXN, 3-2 quarter as well, hammer day. This could be with your NVIDIA. I hit the wrong button. Let's see. We go to DHI and the home builders. That's going to be in there with your XHB. Yeah, so you got a lot of fun stuff setting up for tomorrow. Cuervo, which we already got. TSM setting up in there, we already got. Lennar in the home builders as well. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff. So we have Lennar, KBH, DHI, PHM, maybe Lowe's and Home Depot. Yep, Lowe's, Home Depot. All in the XHB quarterly breaks. They got some simultaneous stuff to be looking at tomorrow. If we not just look at Win, but we look at MGM, it's also going to have the 1-2 down in green, which I'm not sure if it's even on this list. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Let's see. But with Win, tells you look at MGM, tells you to look at Las Vegas Sands, and then the Hyatt, which is H, got nothing. Cruise lines, that was another thing we saw with not just uraniums, but cruise lines today. You'll see had some nice rev strats and CLH. Boom. What is this? Quarterly video. We know? We did. Well, Caribbean, inside day, they also went flying a little bit. And Carnival, also 3 to the upside. So you got all those casino, the leisure stuff. And then maybe airlines, right? United, American Airlines setting up rev strats. And those fall under your leisure, casino, travel type stocks. But that's going to, give us most of this list. We can take a look at the twos up that are red and see if we got anything interesting there. So 2 up red or 2 up shooter. And same thing. Scan the day. I'll show you how I'm doing this. Or scan the day, boom. And we can go to the month or the quarter. They're going to be similar. We can clear the filters. So just copy this. Clear the filters, look for 2 down on the month, and this will give us the ones that are actually going down this month. So you can see CPB, downtrend this month, right? Slight triangle out on the day, chicken noodle soup. INVH in the real estates. There's 2 down. Slight triangle out day, meh. MFC, meh. Bros, 2 month. Slight triangle out day, so maybe you get a natural seller that shows up in there in Bros. But really not much. We can go 2 down week. Actually, we can't. It's a Monday. Go 2 down year and see if there's anything interesting there. Meh. Well, stuff that's actually moving this month. We're just not seeing it. Yeah. Meh. Not a lot of downside setups, at least a 2 up in red. What about shooter? All right. On the shooter side of things, let's see. T-Mobile. It is red this month with the shooter counterhammer day. Reddit. Be a rev strat with full time frame continuity on the day. So we'll just put that on bearish. Would have full time frame continuity if things gap up and that triggers. That could be a bad thing. Nuggets. So your gold stuff, which, if CPI comes in light, you could see gold kick back down. Tells you to look at JNUG. Nice little triangle out action in here. So shooter here to reclaim the mother bar. Interesting. Gold. Already reversed. Silver. Gap up sell to start the week. And you'll see this triangle that we played off of a couple of weeks ago here. Boom. More, metals, AEM. Yeah, so maybe bearish JNUG, GDX, Nuggets, and the gold and silver miners. That's really about it. So if you're skipping to the end of the video, here is your gist. Got CPI tomorrow, uranium leadership, cruise lines leadership, which is mostly your MCLH, RCL, CCL. Potentially 2 reversals, tech and semis with CPI tomorrow. You got some NVIDIA news overnight for China deal, or China, I guess you could say demand. This is really positive. So if CPI is good, Nvidia could really go flying. And then discretionary, I'm actually just going to remove that. But inside bars, you know, anything with a star, this is something I'll have on focus tomorrow. I like MP specifically because they got a government contract recently. So something we talked about happening before the government contract, and they got it. So now the news is out. I imagine we still have people piling in. Anything here is going to be high ATR. CRWV is going to be AI play. So if that breaks and that works, 2-2 on a Tuesday or inside on a Tuesday break, could be a good one that starts taking off again. Then AAP, this is a Momo play. This one's just been going up, and then inside bar and CNX, new stop. I've never traded it. CELH would be a triangle they out setup. And then with the shenaniganers, you got, you know, crazy high volatility in these guys. So if you're looking for really high volatility, this is where you want to go. Then 2-2s, you know, a lot of the market's setting that up. We got a few from the quarterly that we're looking at, which includes your home builders for a simultaneous break, includes Cuervo from the quarterly, and then SoFi, which has been on a tear. And then, you know, your main guys, NVIDIA, Oracle, you could have Dollar Tree in there, Cisco, Dell, just some tech. And then Rev Strats to the upside from our quarterly breaks, leisure, casino stuff. All these guys, and then potentially airlines with the leisure, casino, travel type stuff. You'd have UAL, AAL. On the downside, gold and silver miners are the only thing, with Reddit, maybe a Rev Strat with a full time frame continuity. And this is more so like, let's say the whole market gaps up, then we can go to the short side of things. If these are kicking into the downside, they should really drop, right? If the whole market gaps down, maybe we're not looking at this. Maybe we go and focus on some of the high volatility stuff and see who's going up. Because anything that's momentum stock or based on news, they can still go up while the market goes down, and you cremate shorts in the process of that. So we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, see how that CPI goes through, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Adios.